So the question we're asking is, can the Mahagathbandhan prove a lifeline for the weakening SP and challenge the popularity of the rapidly growing BJP in Uttar Pradesh? And joining us for a discussion on that is the political editor of the Deccan Herald, Shekhar Iyer. Thank you very much for being with us. Firstly, how weak is the Samajwadi Party currently, would you think?
No, I think
they're having their 25th celebrations tomorrow, Foundation Day.
They're having the 25th celebration. The fact that there have been some attempts to get leaders of other parties to come for the function, as well as some of these backroom parleys that we have seen, including Prashant Kishore meeting Mulayam Singh, then Mulayam Singh trying to invite Nitish Kumar to attend this function.
Right.
I think the very fact that the Samajwadi Party leaders are trying for some kind of a, let alone Mahagathbandhan, because I will go by Nitish Kumar's description, Mahagathbandhan is one when SP and BSP will also come together.
Okay.
And to fight. I don't see that kind of scenario happening. But the fact remains is, between the last Lok Sabha elections in 2014, when BJP managed to get more than 70 Lok Sabha seats, which if you convert it in terms of assembly seat, it goes to more than 250 plus.
Okay.
So that is the account with which BJP, it is that kind of mood with which the BJP, though a lot of things have happened. So therefore, BJP does see an advantage, and Mayawati is not the old Mayawati, in the sense the lot of things happen in her party also.
Right.
Therefore, it's a tough call for both for Mayawati and Samajwadi Party. So therefore, you see a lot of energy and lot of...
so the BJP is taking advantage of the political situation and the Parivartan Yatra. How effective is this going to be? How well planned is it? Because it's across the state. I mean, it's covering 75 districts. There are 30 sabhas. Major ministers are involved. The party president is involved, and it finally ends with the culmination of the Prime Minister giving the big speech at on the 24th.
See, this time the BJP's approach has been very different from the previous assembly elections, where this yatra is not the beginning of their campaign. In fact, what has happened is, under Amit Shah, the plan has been that you somehow revitalize the party units right from the booth level. This is something that has been stressed over the last 2 years.
True.
So following which, this yatra is to actually to synergize all those efforts that have taken place at the booth level, at the district level, and then give that energy and the momentum that is needed for the campaign. Because they have learned from the previous assembly elections, where a lot of it was done at the macro state level, but when it came down to the actual constituency level, there were a lot of failings. This is something they have sought to correct in this year's campaign.
So how important is good organization, good planning, widespread, campaigning, getting your outreach, one can call that, for electoral success in the light of what is happening in Uttar Pradesh currently?
Yeah, I think that is the challenge which is even the Congress is facing. The very fact, at one point of time, Congress, which had a huge organizational base, is today facing a crisis of sort because of this lack of organization base.
Okay.
And in contrast, as I mentioned, the BJP has to do a lot of correctives in the last 2 years, and which has essentially been, UP is a state where every constituency is like a general election. The factors that work in each of these assembly constituency. Finally, what you get is an aggregate impact or an aggregate result. Therefore, it's a very tough call for the incumbent as well as for Mayawati.
Sure. So you don't see the possibility of Mahagathbandhan or the some sort of a grand alliance that can challenge the BJP at this point in time. And even if, who would be the constituents of this and what will they actually gain from this? I mean, with the SP playing a major role.
I think the very talk of this Gathbandhan which has come now is essentially because Samajwadi Party is worried that all these talk of internal feuds, the feud within the first family, will affect its traditional vote base. And essentially, Samajwadi has always counted on the Yadavs as well as on Muslims and minorities. So their worry is the image, the impression, if it goes that Samajwadi's house is not in order, there is a possibility that minorities may shift to BSP. This is something which is worrying. At the same time, Congress, which is actually is playing this elections in a not a, the stakes are not that high for the Congress, because for the Congress, if it can manage to retain some of the seats it held previously, it would think that it has gone a long way, because things have been quite bad for the Congress.
Right.
So therefore, essentially the top, and Congress would not mind perhaps an alliance, but then the Congress does not want to go with Mulayam Singh at the helm. They have given sufficient signals. Unless the whole thing rests in the hands of Akhilesh Yadav, they are not very keen with an alliance.
And the choice of the faces that will be representing the BJP, Rajnath Singh, Kalraj Mishra, Uma Bharati, how do you understand this? Because you talked about, catering to certain constituencies, and each of them actually has a large mission, if one would say, because they represent a certain kind of community.
Yeah, but as I said, UP is always, UP politics is one of aggregation, and aggregation of those caste factors besides other things. So therefore, I believe probably there is a conscious decision on the part of the BJP not to project a single phase or a single leader, rather try to present a collective. The fact that yatras are starting from different directions and leaders who are seen as very influential in their respective communities are being roped in to give that thrust. Because at this moment, the BJP would rather go with the work that the Prime Minister Modi's government has done at the center, and that BJP must get a chance in UP. Because that is what their campaign, as you mentioned, I mean, the slogan is also that the BJP should get a chance.
Sure. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Shekhar Iyer, for joining us here on Newsnight.